We start out on this new road. No turning back. But we have our ancestors with us. We're going to continue to dance with them. Dreaming them. Calling them. Seeing them. We are becoming what we were.
It is part of that Mayan prophecies.
7 triangles of light.
Keep walking. You are the spirit of Unapku. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit of Unapku.
People who say that the gods made them from corn. They planned their lives according to the heavens. Well versed in astronomy, using a sophisticated mathematics, they calculated the movements of the night sky thousands of years into the past and thousands of years into the future. They knew that the universe moved in cycles. Their lives were ruled by the rhythms of the natural world, planting and harvesting, birth and death, just as the great tree of life emerges from the earth.
Always, they're connected. Science and religion.
In dreams, we learn from the Maya gods when to plant and when to harvest, when to set a fire, and when to do the corn ceremony.
What we're digging up, what we're coming up with, is part of our history. And the men that lived here are some of the greatest men we've ever had. And it's the fact that we're getting to know more and more and more about the life of these people.
They still maintain their customs. They still maintain their ways of organizing their societies. And it's very exciting to see how much of the ancient Maya way of life is still alive as well.
Because American history does not begin in 1492 with Columbus. It begins in 200 BC with the first Maya king who wrote his name on a stone. What is happening now is the people who made these places, people like Yashpak or Bird Jaguar or Pakal, are getting back their voices. They are becoming real to us and speaking to the people of the 20th century about who built this place and why and what they felt and what they thought about the world. These are not anonymous people anymore.
You are the spirit of Unapku. Keep walking. We the human, we are doing the spirit of Unapku.
Yo,
LA natives.
LA natives, we are here once again.
Welcome back, guys. Very special show today. We have a lot to talk about, right, Zero?
Yo, the International Hip Hop Music Awards.
Yep.
Right around the corner.
International
Indigenous.
Hip Hop Awards show. We've been backing it up since we found out about it.
Yeah.
And remember, it was kind of mind blowing, right, Zero? How it just hit us hard when we found out about it.
Yeah.
Because we were like, how come this never existed before?
Well, it's smart to reach out to individuals that, you know, no one puts attention to indigenous hip hop anything. Anything that has the word indigenous will not be promoted heavily unless it's going to be exploited, right? For its story or its history or whatever it is. It's not going to be promoted in a way where it's like, oh, wow, those guys are really telling us the truth. No one's going to promote that. So to have an organization gather indigenous hip hop artists, and maybe some of those indigenous hip hop artists do want a pop career, but most of them don't. That's what I've noticed. Most of them want to just tell the story of what happened. Why do we live in poor reservations? Why are we dealing with suicide? Why are we dealing with an epidemic of methamphetamines? It's just you know, no one's gonna go, oh yeah, let's tell that story. And by the way, put some Nikes on them. You know, it's not gonna be that. And that's the truth. So don't look for that. I think we get this false reality that somebody in a corporate suit with a fucking Beamer or a Rari or a limo is gonna go, hey man, I really feel sorry for those guys and I want to give them money. No, it's not gonna. So that's why it takes independent artists, CEOs who are brave enough to put their own money and have a vision.
Yes.
And I think that's what this is.
Yes.
That's
And by the way, we
have
have a very special guest in house right here. Go ahead and speak on the mic. Go ahead and give us a great introduction.
Yeah, my name is Viaje Calíche. I'm just honored to be here, you know, with my brother Zero. You know, I haven't seen this guy in a while. You know, Armando, I appreciate you and you know, all the gente out there. You know what I mean? Many blessings, peace and blessings to all of you tuning in. Yes, Viaje Calíche in the house.
Great. You're our artist spotlight co-host for the evening. We have a lot to talk about, right, Zero?
Yeah.
We have a show coming up. We have this show, the International Indigenous Hip Hop War Show. We need to go heavy on with the promo. It's May 22nd and 23rd. And I think we're going to be on the 23rd.
Cool.
And we have K.A.S.P in the building. Let's go ahead and bring him in.
Yo.
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
I'm
Nice to meet
doing, man. Just, you know, trying to push this hip hop awards show. I mean, it's tough, but you know.
You know, I have to say something, Zero.
Yo.
K.A.S.P, it's such an honor for you to be on our show, bro, because I was telling Zero, like, yo, K.A.S.P is the OG.
Yeah.
Zero, you're an OG.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be a kid on the sideline just listening to this dope conversation.
Right on. Well, I mean, I was telling Armando just a second ago that, you know, how brave it is to put these type of events together because, you know, whether you're from the res or from the barrio, right, you have to fund your career. You have to believe in your vision. So what is this? What was the vision? What did you have in mind when you said, I'm going to put this award show together for the people of indigenous descent?
Oh man, it was like it all started with my buddy Chris, and he had this award show in Winnipeg. And we were having a discussion. It was, you know, online, you know, and we were like, I asked him, have you ever thought about putting together like an indigenous hip hop award show? And he's not indigenous. So he was like, well, I'm not indigenous. And I'm like, no. But have you ever thought about putting this together? Because it's like, it's never been done. I mean, you see the Grammys, you see any award show and they just pigeonhole hip hop, right? Canada, we hear the Juno's awarded. That's it. We don't get, you know, the culture doesn't get to shine. So he was like, you know, I didn't think he'd do it. Like, yeah, okay. And, you know, let's do it. And I was like, I didn't take it as in he really would back it up because he wasn't indigenous, right? All of a sudden, a week later, I get a phone call and he's just like, yeah, so we've got the website set up. Let's do it. And this was like 3 years ago. And I was like, what? Before COVID? And then so that's how it launched. So.
Wow, Zero.
Yeah.
Just from a spark, an idea.
Right.
Or a suggestion.
I mean, when you think of indigenous artists or people who carry an indigenous label, you're right away, you're put at the bottom. You know, shut that story up. Even if you're trying to be a pop star.
Yeah.
It's too much for people in the mainstream or colonized capitalist Europeans to handle. That's why the same struggle happens with the Aborigines. So big ups to you for doing it, bro. Like, is that the vision? Did you see that? Did you see some people that were just being completely ignored, super talented, but had no platform to showcase? That's what I see with your show.
Yes, sir. Yep. I mean, because like I said, like indigenous, like you said, you guys like hit it right on the nail, right? And hit it right on the head. I mean, they don't respect culture, let alone hip hop, like indigenous hip hop culture, right? So yeah, it was like going uphill, you know, like we mentioned it to people and, you know, we've talked to like Chino XL, we talked to, you know, I did a song with DMC from Run DMC and, you know, we mentioned it to these cats and they're like, oh, what, indigenous people do hip hop music? And I was just like, yeah, you know, and so when we mention it to non-indigenous people, it's almost like they're like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. That's cool that you guys are doing that. And I was just like, you know, they don't take it serious, right?
Yeah. And there's some very talented, very influential individuals like David Strickland, who's not only been a part of, you know, indigenous people's careers, but like some classic people in hip hop. You know, he engineered and did a lot of beats for them.
We have Dreezus nominated. We have Defy. We have Dreamin'.
Yeah.
Who we just interviewed from Australia.
Dreaming is dope.
Such an amazing artist.
Man, that guy is on another level, and I haven't really even like put a whole listen to his catalog. But
So
just his vibe.
K.A.S.P, as far as I know, this is going to be my first official online experience. Can you go ahead and give me a little bit of background on that?
Oh man, so there's going to be like it's going to be like an international trade show. So the first day is going to have like booths and different artists and different clothing lines and different people, DJs, beat makers that are going to be represented in the booths on the 22nd, right? And then we're going to have performances like every 20 minutes. So it's going to be amazing. I mean, like I said, like it was said in the but on the website,
Yes.
we have tickets on sale, the indigenoushiphopawards.com. And then so Mike Bones even, I heard, is going to be there too, seeing the show. And then, to have other people, like other indigenous artists from like Australia and, India. I mean, I'm excited for this.
We are super excited too, right, Zero?
It's crazy how this award show labeled indigenous people, but from other areas. Like, I mean, he's mentioning people from India. He's mentioning people from like there was an individual we interviewed from Jamaica.
Yes.
Right. So like indigenous didn't mean long hair braided, people who live on a reservation. Indigenous meant, like what we've been talking about in LA Natives, which is hashtag global indigenous.
Yes. And
I want to
go ahead and on behalf of LA Natives, thank you guys for allowing us to contribute to do some, VIP red carpet interviews for you guys and to have Zero perform. It's such an honor, right, Zero?
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as awesome. I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just excited to talk about it. I mean, to see so many people like you guys and like just people support it. I mean, we want to make this like a movement on its own. So, because it's a culture in itself. And that's what I wanted to really push and get people, especially non-Indigenous people, to see that, hey, we have this culture. We have all these talented artists from Superman to Dreezus to you guys to DJs, but all Indigenous, right? And coming together in one platform. That's what we really wanted. And you guys, thank you guys so much. I mean, we're excited to have you guys on board.
Well, anything with the word indigenous, you got to just be a part of, it's just,
yes.
It's almost communal. Like, it's almost like, family members. It's kind of like Standing Rock, everybody showed up is like, because we're all indigenous and we're fighting the same thing. And what I like about the diversity of this show is that, not everybody's trying to save the world. Somebody's just trying to express themselves. Somebody's trying to just be a hip hop artist, which is cool. I think that's great.
And to create an award show that's hip hop, right? Like that's, to me, bro, like I run underground hip hop blog. I have a big passion for hip hop. As you know, this podcast is devoted to the indigenous hip hop community, man. And much respect to you for doing that. Because of course you could have probably incorporated different genres, but I believe hip hop is the #1 genre in the world and it's going to continue to dominate moving forward.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, the team that we got, to have John C., and to bring his career, what he's done for hip hop in Canada, let alone for Indigenous hip hop, and then to have Miss Christy Lee from the coast, and then to have Chris, who's not Indigenous, just help push this and make this happen. I mean, again, it's all one big partnership for international Indigenous hip hop music. I mean, I've been part of different award shows and stuff like the Aboriginal People's Choice Music Awards, the Indigenous Hip Hop Awards, but nothing is like this. I mean, like I said, we want this to be its own entity, like community, like you said, communal, right? So,
right, K.A.S.P. And your foundation is you're a dope hip hop MC, right?
Yeah, I did my best. I've won awards. I was part of a crew called Seventh Generation. We've won, Indigenous awards, non-Indigenous awards. Like I said, did songs with Chino XL. Shout out to Chino. Shout out to DMC from Run DMC. Did a song with him. My new album coming out. Did a song with RBX from Death Row Records. And it's going to be on my new CD actually. But to be able to do songs with old school artists and to help push Indigenous hip hop even further. I mean, that's my goal now, is to help any artist just get to that level, right? And like you said at the beginning of the show about the whole mainstream, how some guy in a suit saying, "Hey, I'm going to go promote this Indigenous hip hop artist." It's not going to happen unless I don't see it, because there's still that stem of almost like not trying to make it political, but almost racism, right? And it's just like it sucks. But to be able to do songs with like other artists and then to push this show, I mean, yeah, I've did a lot of hip hop in my time.
Well, K.A.S.P, right, Zero. This is the platform to speak on what you feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
I just it's crazy how we're indoctrinated to kind of be politically correct with individuals who weren't politically correct with us at all. They didn't have no kindness to what they did to us, and we seem to want to talk kindly about their atrocities. Their atrocities.
Yeah.
And that's why we struggle the way we struggle. I don't believe it's just some rich guy don't want to invest because he's racist. It's even beyond that. He's guilty. How is he going to make money off of indigenous artists talking about the story of what happened to him? He won't. Even if he does, even though he will make millions and millions of dollars, I just don't think his buddies would agree to it. They'd be like, "You're causing too much shit. What the fuck? Who wants to? Why the fuck are we gonna feel bad about? We already won the war. You're trying to start a new one, you know?
Yes.
Because I just don't see indigenous artists, whether they're even in the mainstream, not get to a point where they want to talk about the genocide that happened to us on this land. Let's not forget that, and we shouldn't be shy about saying, "Hey, rich corporate colonial America will never invest in us." That's okay, because we have our own markets.
And this is why this show to me is so vital for how I see it, for the hip hop culture. Zero. That's how big the show is. It's the first annual, and it's like we're diving head first.
Yeah,
saying, "Hey, this is the Indigenous International Hip Hop Award Show.
Right.
Like, let's kill it."
Yeah.
Am I right, K.A.S.P?
Yes, sir. Yep. 100%. Because it's like, man, like to see this happen. I mean, we're hoping a lot of people show up, but like you said, right? Like, just because of our struggle alone, and you said that we're like pretty much like almost like programmed because of residential school, right? Because of all that stuff that we're not supposed to succeed, that we're not. But you know what? Just the fact that this is going to be the first show of many, I think we're going to kick doors down, and we were hoping to have.
I'm hoping that it leads to like live shows, because the gathering of, once you gather enough contacts, you can, Armando's not, new to that. I mean, I'm sure his Rolodex is filled with artists that he's promoted and had successful shows with. I'm hoping that your gathering of people, because you were able to gather so many to be a part of this, how would I say? What would you call that? Like
powwow
Zoom,
gathering,
but it's like a Zoom experience,
the virtual experience. Yeah,
and the virtual experience,
and it's groundbreaking, to be honest with you, because I've never been a part of it, and I'm looking forward to it.
It's cool because it gives a tidal wave to the live performance, right? Yes. If you can gather these individuals and work something out so that people get to go and experience this version of I don't know, it's not even a spotlight because you're investing it on your own, right? There's no major contributors to this, correct?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it was hard to get sponsors. You know what I mean? Like we were trying to get sponsors, and man, like you said it, nobody wants to sponsor like our show. So we got some sponsors, and it was tough. It was like pulling teeth, and to be able to get people to really back this show, right? And originally, before COVID, it was supposed to be a live show. Like it was supposed to be a live show, and the ones who couldn't make it, we were hoping to like get like grants to help get artists from the States, Australia, wherever. But COVID hit, and it's almost like a blessing in disguise now because people hopefully will like, hey, well, since this COVID shit's here, let's check out this hip hop show. Let's check out this festival. And so that's why it became online. So,
well, I mean, it as much as we wanted to not experience the repercussions of somebody's some government's horrible decisions in terms of keeping us inside a home, it also made your platform huge because you got artists from so many people wanting to contribute virtually that when you do the live show, you already have their phone number. There's no like,
and it feels so good
email.
When we first got involved with this award show, and when we started promoting it, a lot of people reached out like, "Yo, what is this? This is dope. I'm gonna tune in." Like, you guys caught the intention right off the bat, right, Zero? And much respect to you, much respect to your team, and we're just so looking forward to your guys' growth and success. And we just hope to be continuing to join forces with you guys and keep moving forward.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, again, thank you guys so much. I mean, like, we really want this to be the first one to be like the first of many, and we want to be able to work with as many indigenous companies, independent companies, artists, graffiti artists, you know, and like, man, we thank you guys again. Like, we're so humbled to be able to have so many people like have eyes on it now, you know, and to be part of it, not just, you know, not just like, you know, watch it, but be part of it. Like, now it's like hip hop is like the family, right? You know, and to be able to be like, hey, yo, you guys want to check this out? And you guys are in LA and we're in BC and all the way to Winnipeg. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, connecting us with those artists so far away, even in kind of remote areas, you know, because they were able to submit music to your platform. That was cool. And obviously it's gonna start off slow. But the minute you start to scale it, that's when the advertisers and that's when the sponsors start writing big checks, right? And you're like, oh, wow, look, they finally they acknowledge us. Well, I recommend you tell them and you take that check and shove it up their ass because it was your hard work. It was your idea. Don't let the colonizer colonize it and destroy it because you know how hard it was to put together. And you have our support. And you have our support because it's independent and it's showcasing individuals that are willing to invest in themselves and in their art because they're going to get a chance to showcase it.
Yes, yes. So guys, May 22nd and May 23rd, make sure you guys tune in indigenoushiphopawards.com. You guys can just simply go onto that website, support, buy some merchandise, buy the sweaters, buy the t-shirts. Gang of performances. Zero's going to be performing. We're going to be doing some interviews. It's going to be awesome. Thank you again, K.A.S.P. We hope to bring you back soon. And we're looking forward to the event. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Respect. Thank you.
Right on, brother.
Wow, Zero. That's amazing, right? It just, I don't know. I'm kind of shook right now because we're a part of it.
When you do something in the ground, well, I mean, no one's ever gathered us like this. You know, no one's ever wanted to tell that type of story, right? Or get behind that story, whatever it is, whether it's res individuals talking about how bad it is in their ghetto, right? Like just using our slang in their territory. It's the same story, you know? So it's time that if someone gets smart enough, like us, right? And putting a banner that unifies the tip of Alaska with the tip of Chile, then there's no need for colonial corporate involvement, right? Because you got to think it's colonial. Don't say that, oh, it's a corporation. You know, how are you putting that? Well, go look up fucking England and it's a fucking corporation. Okay? So go look up England because you'll see that it's a corporation. And go look up the United States, right? It's a corporation. So we can't be going, oh, well, getting confused between colonial rapists, which are just corporations. They have a new name and a new outlook and they don't just want to conquer and kill you. They want to enslave you. Not by forcefully putting chips in your arm, but by keeping you uneducated to what they do.
Yo, Viaje.
Yeah.
That was a lot to soak in, right?
That was a lot.
You know, the first annual International Hip Hop Award Show, one of a kind. Like, what do you think about that?
Man, that's unbelievable, right? You know, my lineage is Maya Lenca, you know what I'm saying? And I know there's a lot of hip hop artists out there that there have been for a long time, but because heavy metal, because that's the stuff that the tourists like, and there's a lot of shows and concerts for that, you know, these hip hop artists, these youngsters with a lot of talent don't get, you know, they're not able to perform. You know, when they go to the venues, they kick them out. Like, no, you gangsters get out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's associated with street culture.
You know what I'm saying?
Or gang culture.
Gang culture, street culture, and that's all negative. That's all stuff that is gonna bring problems, supposedly. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we relate to. You know what I mean? That's where everyone starts, is from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? So even Drake, you know what I mean? So to have something like that, man, that's huge.
Right? And
I mean,
we're a part of the first one, right? That's crazy.
You're talking about all these countries, bro, Australia and Jamaica, bro. I mean, come on, man. You know, not only to have them record on a compilation, but to actually have them perform, bro, and unite in that way, that's strength, bro. That's power.
And to give out awards, right? That these artists could actually put on their mantle. Because they're never going to get nominated at VH1 or MTV.
Never. That's never. I laugh.
They might make appearances. They might make appearances, and they make a little subsection of a series on them, but they're not going to award them Best Artist of the Year.
Never.
And I man, K.A.S.P, I have so much respect for you, bro, because as a promoter myself, you know, I've been shunned on so many times when it comes to like hitting up venues and they tell me, oh, hip hop? No, I'm good. You know? And to not give up, you know, because I know a lot of promoters gave up because they were just getting shunned too much, because hip hop does have a bad rap in clubs and venues, especially if you're in the underground independent market, right, Zero?
Well, there's levels of things, right? I mean, I just heard Killer Priest's new record. It sounds nothing like hip hop. There's levels of it, right? Some people, my partner can't stomach it, that album. I thought it was brilliant because I feel like for a long time, since the time of the type of hip hop that you promote, we haven't been challenging it, right? You know, Public Enemy comes out, and you as an independent artist, you're going, fuck, I gotta write lyrics that good? Okay, fuck it, I am. And I'm gonna challenge myself to do it. And so you're challenging the narrative, right? Constantly. So it's gonna get into these fractalized places. And I think that's what we're creating on June 25th.
Yes.
Right? A different version of it, a pocket of it. Yeah, it may have a popular sound to it, but it has not popular lyrics to it. You know? Olmeca is a unique artist on his own because he does have a very mainstream sound, but his message isn't mainstream at all. And he's very clever about hiding it. You know, so that mixed in with actual stuff or actual facts or documentaries that are giving you information, that's different. It's like we're challenging what happened in the early 80s and 90s when hip hop became conscious. Now it's like, okay, you're conscious. How are you applying it in your life? What kind of a person are you developing to be? That's where we're at now, right? That's where I saw Killer Priest's album. I thought it was brilliant because he said, fuck, I must sound like nobody.
You know what? He just dropped a new record?
Yeah.
Okay, we definitely need to reach out to him then.
Yeah, he just dropped a new record.
Okay, because that completely changes the whole dynamics when it comes to
it's fucking brilliant.
Potentially booking him.
It's
for
brilliant.
one of our events, guys.
It's fucking a brilliant album. It's like on the level of Flying Lotus.
Right.
But it's almost like, I almost felt like it was sonnets with like random beats. It almost sounded jazz.
Oh yeah.
It sounded jazz. And it was like, I'm fucking lagging in my shit. If he's making records that sound like that, I'm so far behind.
I used to always kick it with Killer Priest. I think I used to live with them, if I'm not mistaken.
What the fuck?
With my homie Danny, you know, we were roommates. And then I was just with Prodigal Son of Sons of Man.
Yep, I met Prodigal a couple times.
And, you know, I'm even thinking maybe doing a Sons of Man show.
That'd be dope.
Putting all those dudes together.
It's just, we have to conceptualize, and you're a pioneer. You're like Henry Ford.
Yep.
You're like Steve Jobs, because you have to be ahead of what the industry is.
Yeah, man, I definitely want to reach out to Killer Priest.
Know that hip hop has now taken a turn from sounding boom bap to sounding experimental.
Right. And keep in mind, guys, this show coming up on June 25th, we're not just gonna have hip hop artists. We're gonna have canvas artists. We're gonna have vendors there.
Definitely vendors.
You know, feel free. We have a second stage, bro. If you want to rock, 10-minute set, dog. Like we have a second stage. You know what I'm saying? Just support the event. It's
Always.
a free, limited
I'll be
free
there, either way.
RSVP event. $5 at the door. $5 advance. Zero. We had to smash this first event, man. We got Jag, we got you, we got Olmeca, we got Sub One, we got Ozomali, we got Poca One, we got Frosty, we got DJ Warlock, DJ Survive, and we're about to book another 10 artists.
And I'm about to talk to a really influential DJ. He's a very personal good friend of mine. And he's the type of DJ that could create a sound for a scene. You know what I mean? Like playing the right things.
Yes, we had to get more DJs involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely need some DJs because I don't want it to be like this repeat of capitalist ego, right? We're not creating a scene for ego. We're creating a space where you're gonna learn something. You're gonna take something away.
Doors open at 8 p.m. and ends at 1 a.m.
Okay.
Right?
There we go. Plenty
It's
of
a
time.
Friday night. It's either Friday or Saturday night.
And it's a professional venue. It has
It's a
good
great
sound.
venue. We have some visuals. We have a projection. When we do the walkthrough, man, it's going to be dope, man. We're going to plan everything out. It's going to be sick, man.
Every detail
And
of
I
the
love
show.
going to a show where there has proper sound. It has to be good and nice and loud, right?
Yes. Yes. It has to have an atmosphere. Like when I walked into Low End Theory, it was a vibe. It was a vibe. Like that's what we want. We want that.
The shows I like to organize, it's like when someone's on stage, people are focused on the stage, right, Zero?
Yeah.
It's not like a dive bar scene or open forum type scene of an event, right? The Catch One, the spotlights are on the stage.
Right.
And best believe, man, whoever we book, bring your A game. I expect you to bring your A game and nothing less, right, Zero?
Well, everyone who you mentioned on the bill so far has something to say about the current situation that we live in, right? And they have their own strategies on how to deal with that. And that's what we want to present to the community of LA natives. Anybody who's going to support June 25th at the Catch One, the release of my new single, Global Pandemic. I'm already going to shoot my photo for the shirt that goes along with this song. And it's a movement. There's a reason why we're making it on June 25th, right? There's a reason why that day was picked. There's a reason why someone randomly called Armando and said, "Hey, Armando, can you fill this date?" It's the ancestors are guiding this, and I could see it clearly. And they're strong. And they asked us to do it on June 25th.
That's amazing, right, Zero? And it's the commemoration of the Battle of Little Bighorn.
Yeah, it was a dream that Sitting Bull had, a dream that the natives would defeat the U.S. Army, right? And that dream came true. It didn't mean that they were going to annihilate them. They were going to make a statement that we couldn't keep up the killing of unseasoned pioneers digging up the dirt in greed. It wasn't like we were just murdering people. We had to make a statement. And we took that statement into the underworld, right? And now they're asking to come back. And that's that day they'll come back.
And guys, we're working on getting a second stage at that venue, man. And AV, bro, like just reach out, send us an email, bro. Like there's plenty of open slots, especially if I close the second stage. It's a 2-room environment. I believe we're going to be able to get vendors in there. It's the Catch One Noise Tavern Room. I'm just so pumped, Zero, because you know how I am with shows, right, Zero? Like,
Yeah.
I love putting them together.
Yeah.
I have a big show coming up in September with Lord Flea and Lord Mob. We got Cool Keith coming up October 2nd. But I'm prioritizing this event because Underground Hip Hop Blog is providing a great space for the indigenous hip hop community. We just received a DM not too long ago, Zero, of someone saying, "Hey, bro, like I don't know of any other outlets that do that for the indigenous hip hop community on the level that we're doing it for LA."
Wow. I think that was your vision, you know, where you saw like,
That comment shook me, man, because it's not a big deal to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a humble dude. I'm just trying to put a dope show together.
right.
Right, Zero?
It's crazy how you just like, well, mean, nothing's random, man. Everything's set up to a point where, you know, you're interested in my music, and then it led up to this podcast, and now we're into creating a scene that's not
a low end theory, just like how you said, a low end theory. And guys, if you guys don't know what low end theory is, and for the real ones, you guys know what time it is. It's fucking dope, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be
That's
on.
history,
It's gonna
man.
be on that
History.
level. It's gonna be on that level. Like low end theory was more like visual, instrumental. It was a vibe. It was dope. But nothing came out of there was nothing that followed it. No one else said, "Ooh, well, I'm gonna take it this way."
Take the torch on.
Yeah. What is it just gonna die? And that's what happens in Los Angeles is that they feel like, you know, they get really famous and they don't feel like they need to do work anymore. I don't ever want to feel that way. I want to feel like my work is endless.
Stay on your toes.
I want to feel like, you know, the vision that I had with this podcast and with these events is to bring a dream back together that I had about taking mineral dense nutrient foods to the reservation. So when you're supporting June 25th, you're supporting that vision. It's the reconnection of our big brothers who have been mistreated in reservations, and the orphaned brothers who have been forced into a machine that we call the cities, right? The place where it erases everything and just makes you this drone, this worker, this meaningless individual. We're trying to put meaning, purpose back into individuals who are taking their lives at the reservation.
Yep.
Give them a connection to Los Angeles. Give them a stage in Los Angeles so that they could go, wow, there's something, you know, giving them purpose. Not just one protest, but an endless connection, because we choose very specific dates for our events, right? June 25th was picked because of the Battle of the Bighorn, right?
And it wasn't even like we picked that date, right? Like you said, the catch one just coincidentally sent
Well,
us that email.
we didn't pick it for the catch one. I picked it just to release Global Pandemic, right? Because I felt like, you know, it's a perfect time because everybody goes, look, we're open again, right? Try to forget your mask.
Here we are.
Try to forget your mask, right? Try. Oh, look it, kids are going back to school. Yeah, talk to that little kid and ask him how that is. I just saw a speech by a little kid who was fucking telling me, my teacher's walking around making sure that all kids are out. Like, what is this? Are we in the fucking Nazi Gestapo age where, you know, but they're using a mask as the rules not to break? I mean, this kid's fed up, and it's a 10-year-old kid saying the speech. There's a lot of stuff that's happening out there, and it's our time to really navigate and implement every bit of wisdom. It wasn't a trend, not for me. I started studying the Mexica culture, and it wasn't for a lot of people, but it just was hard to implement. What is it that we're implementing? Well, now we know very specifically. It's our tonal. Once you understand your tonal, then you'll know how to maneuver in the world. Remember, we were orphaned into a city that erased everything from us, right? My grandfather, he's a Christian. He's not native. He's a Christian. He's just like the other Christians that sit in the thing. They're gone now. They're dead. But my point is, when you erase everything from you, right? And then you have other individuals who feel like their culture is their prison, right? Because I'm native, I have to live out here in this reservation that has nothing. So they're in prison and we're orphaned. They're trying to escape into our reality that's going to erase everything about them. There's a lot of work to do. And I'm not saying that to be a Debbie Downer. I'm saying that to inspire warriors to be creative.
Yes, sir.
This individual right here, he put a vinyl together.
I appreciate it. Well, first, that was March 4th, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? First, if you remember in 2005 at Cal State LA, Mecha Nationals, I was actually at that time, I wasn't even March 4th, bro, but I remember sitting in circle with you and Victor. You know what I mean? All the brothers, all the students that were there, all the youth, you know, just trying to, like you said, reconnect with our tonal, you know, and just, so I had written some rhymes, you know, and I don't think I'd even gotten on the stage yet, you know, but I was like, it was a hip hop workshop and El Vuh was there and I was like, I'm there. And then at the end, you know what I mean? Y'all were like, okay, if anybody has, you know, something they want to share, something they want to spit, you know, then this is your time. And it came to me, man, and I won't lie, man, I was nervous as hell, you know what I mean? But I was like, I need to do this. I felt like y'all connected in a real powerful way. And I said, man, let me do it. So I did it, man. I pulled out my best verse, you know, or two. And I spit it flawlessly. I didn't even mess up a word. So that was the main concern for me, was like, I need to not fumble my words and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I could cuss or not.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
this is a free platform.
Yeah, there we
It's
go.
not-
So, you know, I was like, fuck, man, you know, I did it. I actually did it. And then Victor looks at me and he's like, hey, bro, that was dope, man.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate your energy, homie. That was nice. But then he said, you know what, though? I said, what, you know, what's coming? He's like, look at folks around you and in front of you when you perform, when you rap, when you share, when you put energy out into the world. You know, we, and I learned later on, know that the eyes are the window to the soul, right? Our eyes tell a lot. You know, I'm a therapist by day. You know, I'm a mental health therapist. I work with youth in South LA.
Oh, cool.
You know, homeless youth, we house them, you know, and stuff like that. And I feel like not only the streets, you know, that raised me, but also just, you know, the older homies, you know what I mean? The older homies would always give me game, you know what I mean? And my intuition is 100, bro. My perception is 100% all the time, bro.
Right.
I sense vibes really well. I sense people really well. And so at the time I was like, what does he mean? You know what I mean? But I was so focused on myself, like you said, on my individualism of I want to come off good, that I forgot that I need to look at people around me because they're the ones that are receiving. So if my heart is pure, if my heart is true, then they'll receive it in a much more powerful way if I look at them in the eyes, you know?
Wow.
And so that was the message I got from Victor and all of you brothers. So, and then it's a trip because at the end of that conference, I was up front seeing y'all perform. Y'all were performing. And then y'all brought me on stage and I rapped. That was probably the first time I ever rapped on stage.
Wow.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
crazy.
That's
People that know me, March
crazy.
4th, Warlock One knows March 4th. You know, I started music as a rapper, but even going further back, which we're going to get into in a bit, is, you know, I learned how to play guitar and sing as a young kid, but hip hop grabbed my attention. And so, you know what I mean? That is the first memory I have of you.
That's crazy.
Shout out to DJ Warlock One. He's actually going to be performing
So
Yeah.
shout out to Warlock.
He produced Doctrine of Discovery.
June 25th.
Yeah. So that's shout out
My
to him.
Central American brother right there.
Man, he's a beast on the beats. He's
Yeah.
like nonstop. It's cool.
Most
That's
definitely.
that's the only way to like kind of be a master at that. You know.
Yeah. So, but you're right, man. I got a vinyl now. Honestly, I would have never even imagined that to actually happen. I had, you know, I'll just kind of summarize, you know what I mean? But basically, you know, I love doing the hip hop, rapping, putting a message out there, man. And the brother right here was talking about, you know, getting political and shit like that, man. All my stuff was political, bro. Like, I didn't even know how to market it because people were like, man, you're talking about everything. Like, you're talking about everything that's going on right now. You know, politics, the government, you know, environmentalism in the streets, in the hood, like homies like tripping and like everything, bro. And I was connecting the dots and everything. So when I would get on stage, it would be like me, like yelling at motherfuckers, you know what I mean? Like me getting out there and just like, you need to hear this. But you know, people grow, people, you know, like everyone, right? We try to progress as human beings on this planet, right? And so, I realized I want to talk about different things. I want to talk about, you know, relationships. I want to talk about, you know, just just hanging out, man, having a good time. You know what I mean? Just connecting with familia. You know what I mean? Different things that I felt like the hip hop outlet wasn't providing, or that people wouldn't really receive it. You know what I mean? If I were to just switch it up and do a whole album like that, you know what I mean? So, you know, I went back to my roots in playing guitar and singing. You know, for me, you know, I won't even lie. You know, I first started singing and playing guitar in the church, right? You know what I mean? So, like many, you know, other folks in LA that are brown, you know, our parents forced us to go to church.
Okay, so just stop right there real quick.
Yeah.
I like it when people go, I'm not going to lie, I started off in the church.
Yeah.
Let me put this into perspective. When they came, they brought a Bible. That Bible got spread all across this fucking Turtle Island. Not fucking Turtle Island, but all across our continent. Fucking was their religion. That's what I said fucking for. Because we shouldn't be ashamed, or not that you were, or cautious about saying that.
Yeah.
Because when you say that and you go, but I don't go there no more, or I've understood what they are, then they have no power. But if we never talk about it, if we are like, oh, well, I was kind of there, but you know, it's like, it's not your fault.
Well,
come on, dude. They came with the sword that transformed into a gun, that transformed into a machine gun, that now is transforming into a vaccine. So, I mean, they're coming with everything.
You know what?
All the time.
From my experience in the entertainment industry, it started in a church too. I went in church. Dudes were playing the guitar. People were singing.
Hello,
You know,
I started in the church too. Why? Why is the church so fucking common? Because they forced us to go. You would get beaten. You would get killed. Try to be native from back then until now. You won't. The Battle of Little Bighorn. You know what it's about? It was about Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse refusing to go to reservations. That's the Battle of Little Bighorn. So what did they say? Fuck those guys. Those guys are hostile. Those guys are breaking our word. Like, we're telling them to go to the reservation, and they're saying, fuck you, so fuck them. Right? That's the Battle of Little Bighorn.
Wow.
They refused to go to the reservations and won a battle against the U.S. Army. What did that say? That said, even in the spirit realm, we're not going to ever give in. We're putting it all on the line in a battle that our great leader said we would win. That's the Battle of Little Bighorn.
So
it's the ultimate.
That's yeah, and I appreciate those words, bro. Because you know, the way I look at life is just we are a product. I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't have the conciencia. I wouldn't have the understanding. I wouldn't, you know, be able to reach out to people that were in lost identities if I hadn't gone through that. You know what I mean? Like, I have a really thick analysis of the church, of the government, of our gente at this point in time because of that. So I accept that history that I had, and I, to a certain extent, appreciate it for a little bit. So, you know, I learned how to play guitar when I was there. I had a whole live band backing me. I was 7 years old, bro, 8 years old.
That's crazy. See, that's cool.
I was singing to hundreds of people at the old LA Sports Arena.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? And then I learned these cats, the older cats were like from El Salvador, Guatemala, Mexico, and they would teach me how to play boleros and all this old 60s, 70s stuff that a lot of, you know, hip-hoppers sample and stuff like that, beat makers. And I learned it from the source, bro. Like from the gente that literally like crossed the border with their guitar still in hand and made it over here to continue playing, no matter what shape or form they were going to do it. And so, you know, I told my dad, you know, I'm not going to sing in the church no more. And he was cool with it. And then later on, I picked it up here and there. I took a class, you know, at LACC, another one at Santa Monica. Nothing really stuck, but my teachers all said I was really good. My teachers all said I had a good amount of talent. So continue it, you know. So, and I respect, I mean, these are white guys, you know. And I'm just a fool from the hood coming, driving to Santa Monica and taking a class and just being like, oh, okay, damn, maybe I should listen.
Why? Because they're white?
Yeah, you're right? No, because they have, because they're in the front of the class, and maybe because they're white, right? No, and that's the thing.
I'm just fucking with
and
you.
No, and that's the thing too. You know what trips me out, bro? You know what trips me out? The person that politicized me was a white guy, bro, at Santa Monica, bro, from the Bay. You know what I mean? He was in a sociology class.
You know what we should do? We should define these people, right? Maybe he's not a white guy, because a white guy would be more about somebody who is white supremacist, somebody who disrespects the land.
I like that, yeah.
Right? A white human is a white human. There's no political undertone. There's no superiority thing, right? White guys have to prove that they're better than you. White humans are white humans. They'll teach you information. They taught me information. I've taught them information. It's a white human.
Yeah. So he was part of the ISO, the Internationalist Socialist Organization.
Usually they are.
Wow.
And you know what I mean? But what tripped me out is the teacher was talking and he interrupted him and was like, yeah, no, you're wrong. Abe Lincoln had slaves. And I was like, what is this widow doing right here, dog? Like, you know what I mean? But I liked it because he totally stopped the teacher in his tracks. They didn't know how to respond. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it might have been, but at the end of the day, they were in front of the class and I was paying to be there. And I was like, well, okay, they might have something going. I might have something going, and
it's always good. It's always good to be inspired. I mean, believe it or not, if I go back to the thing that inspired me to be a vocalist or somebody that does, it was at I was forced to go to Christian elementary school, right? And they had this play, and I happened to sing in that play. And it's just like what the brother said. The teacher said, oh, wow, I'm sure she was just being nice. I don't think she really meant it now that I think about it, but she's all, you have a good voice. You should be a singer. And then wham, that fucking seed gets planted in your head. And now you go off on this quest of, wanting to be a singer, right? So it's not so much the color of skin or where you got this seed planted in you. It's what's going to grow out of that seed.
Right.
It's not so much who planted it, what type of, because she didn't know she was going to inspire me to be a front man for anything.
But generally, white people are the ones in the forefront of that industry.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Of that sound,
Yeah.
And some people look for that validation. For me, I don't see color. I just see work ethic and merit.
It's good.
That's what I base it out of. You know what I'm saying?
That's very good qualities too.
But
Judge.
I'm not gonna lie and tell you I've never sought their approval. You know what I'm saying? At one point in my career, if I ever had a job interview or I was trying to close something that I thought was really important, there was a white dude. We all ran into those situations where like, fuck, hopefully I could get validated. Where you seek that false reality.
That's the power of white supremacy.
Am I right?
Though.
And this video.
But that's the power of white supremacy.
And maybe it was indoctrinated because of my mom and dad.
Well, yeah, they tell you. Of course, they'll tell you. They'll tell you. They'll be the first ones to tell you. Oh, it's a white guy. Listen to him. He knows what's up. And for some reason, the color of skin and color of eyes.
My dad, bro, is the worst, dude. Like he calls them experts.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude.
No, I get it.
CNN tells my father that they're experts, bro.
Yeah.
Mijo, listen to the experts.
Yeah.
Wear your mask.
Yeah. The experts. The experts of what? Lying? They're fucking the biggest liars in the world.
And then how can I, argue with my father about that? I'm just like, fuck,
You're not
Dad.
supposed to.
No,
You're not supposed to.
I'm like, damn.
Let them be comfortable in there. And
These motherfuckers convince the elders that they're experts now?
No, well, here's how you justify the fact that you just kind of like let it be. One time I was talking to my older sister. She's about, 8 years older than me. And I started really, okay, you want to have a conversation? Let's have a conversation. Here it is. And I start breaking down a lot of things. And in the middle of our conversations, I'll stop. I just don't want to know anymore. I'd rather be in a place where I don't know. And that's where sometimes our parents get driven to.
Ignorance is bliss.
Right? Like, I'd rather listen to the guy who has a suit, who lives in $1 million apartment, who has no idea of what it's like to be poor. Tell me how it is in my hood. He's not an expert of anything. Let's be clear. But I'm not going to argue with your dad about it. I'm going to say, oh, you're right, sir. You know, you're right. Why? He's happy. He's happy being educated by them, right? But all of us aren't born the same, Armando. Like, I get it. Some people want to feel that validation by somebody who has white skin and blue eyes, right? But once you study their true history, you won't seek it anymore.
Right. And you know, I grew up in an environment where my mom used to work at a glass factory, right? And they would go to these company, you know, gatherings.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing but raza. But the head honcho, the boss, big white dude.
Yeah.
Right? It fucked me up, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking at my mom like, man, I'm gonna do my best to get us out of this shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's and that what motivated me to continue to grind with Underground Hip Hop Blog. You know, to propel something that we started from scratch.
Yeah.
You know, without anyone's validation. Because in the music industry, it's colorless.
Yeah.
It's more about greed.
or
you know,
I mean, yeah, we label it, but ultimately at the end of the day, once you look at wrong not being wrong and right not being right, it's all about organization and execution and intention. That's the mastery of the dream.
But he was always the nicest dude in the room. Right? My mom's direct supervisor or boss, who was, you know, in charge of the whole gathering, you know, the most respectful dude. You know what I'm saying? But it fucked me up at the same time.
Well,
you know?
because
They'll trick you, bro.
Because my mom's first generation, my father's first generation, you know?
Let me break that down real quick.
And then as a kid, I would ask my mom, like, Mom, like, how come he's the only white dude in the fucking building? Oh, well, he's the boss.
Yeah. He's the owner.
Yes.
He's the owner.
Yes.
He's not the boss. He's the owner. Okay? And tell me what, back in the days when there were slaves, plantation, you think that fucking owner's going to walk around like an asshole if all the slaves are doing what they're supposed to do?
Right.
And are happy for getting pennies?
And what really fucked me up,
they're not going to be they're going to be super happy. They're going to be the nicest guy in the room. Of course, you want to work for nothing? Cool.
At this company party, whoever showed up, there was a bonus check waiting for them for $1,000.
Right. After he made millions. Right. Yeah. Here, $1,000. Here we go. Fuck. I got to do overtime, triple time. Like fucking had to fucking not see my kid. I couldn't go to his fucking basketball game. I had to work 12 hours a day.
Yeah. And exactly, Zero. My mom was working 10, 12-hour days.
Dude, come on, man. Like, I'm, man, we're going to be up for a challenge and a half because, you know, I'm sitting there in the park today and I'm looking at different versions of Chicanos or different versions of indigenous individuals. There's individuals that their parents grinded to the bone and didn't spend any time with them, didn't build any relationship with them, yet they feel like, wow, my dad did it all for me, right? And he sacrificed so much. So now I have to go into my generation and I have to grind just as hard. And guess what? My little kid, he's going to suffer twice as much as me because I didn't have enough time or guts or ability to create a connection with my own creation. The most important creation you could ever have on this earth is create a human being.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that your parents are bad or they were forced into this situation because they were taught, work harder, work longer, work until you can't work no more. Right. But what about when you have a kid? Can you do that still? No, you shouldn't. We have to break colonial perspective, right? What is the colonial perspective?
Rewired brain.
You know, the colonial perspective is be a slave because you will always be a slave and you will be nothing more than a slave. And 14 hours, you should look at that as a short day, right?
Yep.
That's the way they think.
You get your
that nice guy in the room that fucking walked around, the nice guy, that's what he's saying.
And the whole mentality, what I always get fucked up is the whole mentality of my parents looking forward to overtime. really screwed me up too.
Yeah, because they're trying to, they're using their love for you and exploiting it to the bone, It's the Willie Lynch letter. Look at that letter, read that letter, and you'll understand how one white guy could own this whole plantation and keep everybody psychologically fucked up, right? But right now, the whole world turned into a plantation.
Yep.
The whole world turned into fucking plantation. Right now, right? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Well, the fucking mask that we wear, right? How people are divided and confused. They're confused about what? What are they confused about? Air? Now I'm even me, like I'm fucking walking to the store going, oh shit, I forgot my mask. That
was me this morning.
Dude, it's a psychological Willie Lynch fucking style.
I got one for you.
There you go.
There we go.
I got your mask right here. Don't worry about it.
That's sick right there. So, Viaje, you just released a new track on YouTube called One Last Time, right?
Most definitely. I want to just,
all right, guys,
on the nail.
Real quick, we're going to get into this track.
And then I'll talk about it.
Yep, and we'll go ahead and talk about it.
Ever since I was a little kid, all I ever wanted to be was a gangster. I was searching for that connection, that hermandad, that love. I traveled the world looking for that special girl to share that love. Little did I know, that love was right here. I'm Viaje Calíche, and this is One Last Time.
With the
Wow.
Pretty dope video, man.
Thanks, bro.
What's the name of the song?
Low budget as hell. One last time.
One last time. It didn't look low budget. Just well color corrected.
No, for the vibe and for the genre and for the sound, it's just like
Well,
the Lakesiders type vibe.
I'm letting y'all know y'all don't need a lot of money to make it look nice. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I really wish that sometimes we'd take another look at that, because
It's an indigenous track though.
No, but sometimes it's just a camera angle. Sometimes it's just a color correction. It's a really good song. I think it looks cool.
I appreciate that, bro. Yeah,
because the bigger budget videos,
I made it to.
You know why they make bigger budget videos? Because they have to spend the money. You know what I mean? You don't want to have $5 million on your shit.
It's laying around.
Just be like, oh yeah, at the end of the year. No, they make a big video because their budget allows it.
They won't give you that next year if you don't use it.
Yeah,
right?
Well, they're gonna tax you on it, and who wants to give away fucking $350,000? I'd rather spend that on a video.
Right.
And that's a bigger video.
And I love that your foundation, your roots are from the hip hop scene.
Yeah, but most definitely, and yeah, I mean,
it has that oldie vibe, right? That oldie.
March 4th, all my stuff. Yeah, oldie vibe. You know what I mean? And I never learned how to produce in hip hop, but I always wanted to, because I had that connection to all the vinyl my pops used to play, bro, on his old Techniques 1200, bro, like 1963 stuff all the way up to 1975, man, from all over the world and here, right? In the US, but yeah, man, just to finish what I was saying, man, like I learned how to play the guitar. I came back to it. I feel like my life has been a circle, bro. Like it's always like that. It's a circle. It's like I left LA to go get my degree up north to come back and help the gente that needed the most. Because that's where Creator wanted me. And that's where he wants me right now. So I have a larger purpose, and that's why I'm doing my music. But, and we'll get in, I think we'll get into the vinyl after, because the song, so, I mean, we were talking about validation, right?
Yeah.
And that's what this song is about, is not seeking that, being confident in yourself, in your abilities, in your own power, and specifically it's about relationships, right? I'm talking to the girl. The car is a metaphor for like love, a guy, a boy, a man. And I'm coming in trying to let her know, like, you don't need to play that role. You don't need to act like something in order to get that validation or get whatever you want. The best way to get what you want is being organic, being yourself, being true to your roots, right? And so that's what it's about. It's definitely about that. And self-love, I think a lot of the youth are talking about self-care and self-love and just, not selling yourself short and healing, a lot of healing from a lot of the traumas that we've all been through, and focusing on yourself. And then again, whatever it is you want, if it's love, if it's money, if it's a career, connection, it'll happen. It'll happen in due time. Just stick to the course and be yourself. So that's what it's about.
The challenging of perspective is just that, one has to figure out what your life is, right? And what I mean by that is, it for Armando is like, oh wow, I want to be the best promoter in Los Angeles. I want to be in the best shows with indigenous talent here, and that's going to result in whatever that results in for Armando. Mine is to bring these superfoods back to the reservations, right? Bringing back nutrition, hopefully nutrition will bring back health. Hopefully health will bring back ceremony.
We need that.
And hopefully ceremony will bring back that healing that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But we're in a very a peculiar time, because I feel like social media kind of gives the youth their direction.
Yeah.
And it's so impermanent. It's so quick that they're changing like in a week or 2 weeks, a month. I remember when we got into a scene, it was like, oh, fuck, he's going to be like, when I was into my Rasta scene, my mom it was like about fucking 8 years of that, right? But now it's like, oh, what's up with my son? And it's so quick, and it's because it doesn't have any merit, any true outcome, right? So look for sources that do have that. Look for sources so that we can bring about healing but a healing that doesn't require you to have a nice house or a nice car, but just a healed perspective, so that when you go to the park with your kids, you enjoy it. You're not worried about how am I gonna make this car payment. How am I gonna make this fucking mortgage payment for this house that I rarely use? You know what I mean? Like rooms that are not being utilized. I think we're at that time where, since social media is so fragmented, the ones that have true sources will have following, consistency, and support.
That's it, man.
Creating your own reality.
And I appreciate that. You know, I've been getting a lot of love from this song and video, man. You know,
It's
honestly,
good, bro. It's a good song.
Like you were saying, you know, people really gravitate towards it because, you know, like I said, you know, they might have their own traumas that they need to like have that reminder of like, look, I gotta continue on this course of healing. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I'm really excited. You know, I'll say this, and I can't say much more, but you know, that song's gonna be on vinyl, bro. You know, I don't know exactly when, but you know, in the near future, but previously to that, this is the first record I put out. This is a full length, right? So this is Viaje Calíche Solstice. Came out in 2019. That was the first thing. You know, I think a lot of my followers were just, you know, my familia were just like stuck on the hip hop, and so I had to, because I was doing a whole new project. It was I mean, when I wasn't rapping, I had to just come with a full length, bro. You know, I had to let them know, like, no, this is it now. Like, that's a phase that closed in my life. You know, a journey that came to an end, and I got this new thing. And you know, my life's a trip. Like I said, it's a circle, bro. Because like even this would never have come out, bro, if I wouldn't have broken my ankle. I broke my ankle, bro, and I had some disability left over, and with that, I printed this vinyl out, bro.
Wow.
Like, and during that time, you know how a lot of people were talking about in COVID, oh, you know, like you're quarantined, so you can reflect on your life and look what you need to let go and what you need to. I was on that path in 2019. I mean, no, shoot, I broke my ankle 2016. And 2019,
we shouldn't. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on one thing. We shouldn't call it quarantine. Quarantine is for people who are sick.
Lockdown.
Yes.
Lockdown.
They asked us to stay home.
Yeah. It's lockdown, bro.
That wasn't quarantine. Quarantine is for people who are sick.
There we go.
Okay? Get it straight. We have to be straight, as sharp as an arrow from this point on.
I like this.
You know what I mean?
Bro. I appreciate the reminders, bro.
And I don't mean to correct you, bro. I just, because I'm doing it in a way that our audience understands. You know, if I see a moment where clarity can be shined on, and that's one big moment. We were not quarantined. We were told to stay home. You can't leave home. That's what my whole new single's about. Global pandemic, dude. Mask required. That's gonna be the new single.
Nice.
So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, bro. No, all good. And you know, that happened to me back in 2016, and I, you know, I stopped drinking alcohol, bro. It's been almost 3 years now.
Good.
I had to leave a lot of, you know, amistades, a lot of friends, and focus on what I really wanted to do with my life, bro. You know, I had a couple of friends pass away. One, Gabriel, and I forget his last name, bro, and I should know, but he was an old school like skater, man. Like he started Chocolate, the brand of skating, with a bunch of other legendary skaters. He passed away. He was right down the street from me. And then brother Carlos Zaragoza, a bass player for La Chamba, big, you know, LA cumbia band and stuff. And I was just like, man, but at the time I was drinking, bro, and I couldn't express my sadness and my anger. And I said, this gotta stop. You know what I mean? I never got into like, aside from the Malinali, which is medicina, I wouldn't even count that as a drug. I never got into other stuff, but I was like, this is poison for me, bro. This alcohol is poison. And I made a promise to create it, bro, and sweat. You know what I mean? And Temascal. And to this point, you know, it's been going good. And
well, that's another thing that's amazing. The difference between going to a church and saying, hey, I'm gonna stop doing this, that's revolving around your own will. But when you go and you make a promise in the Temazcal, that is a different experience, because in the Temescal, in the Sweat Lodge, in the Nipi, you are experiencing discomfort, right? And in that discomfort, you feel duress, like you feel a little bit of stress on that. And you're putting a promise. So you're remembering that uncomfortable state and going, that uncomfortable state, that's going to remind me not to go back to something that was harmful to me.
Mm-hmm. That's
right?
what it was, bro.
So you encoded your blood at that moment, and you've had a 3-year commitment with that encoding. That's dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro, and
that's a powerful thing to do.
And yeah, I appreciate that, bro. And it was just healing. You know, I needed to talk about, you know, some relationships where, you know, traumatic for me, as well as I was the one, you know, handing out that trauma to my partners at the time, and I had to write about it, bro. And it's on this album. It's on Solstice. It's on this vinyl, and you know, like we were talking earlier, bro. It's a moment in time that I can say, and I could always go back to. And people could always go back to and say, look, this is history. You know, this is her story. You know, like this is everything for that time. And, you know, I just followed it up, like I said, with this single, but also a couple others before this. Algorithm was a single I put out in February. It's on social media, Spotify, all the streaming sites. That was dedicated to Carlos Zaragoza, because I never had a chance to close that connection I had with them in this physical realm.
Algorithm?
Rhythm,
AI?
like ritmo, rhythm.
AI?
Algo, huh?
Oh, algorithm.
Algorithm. Yeah, so it's like the Spanish, it's in Spanish, you know, and algorithm, you know what I mean? I just wanted to like flip that algorithm shit, you know what I mean? And
you know what AI is though, right?
Yeah, I know what AI is. Artificial intelligence.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, finish your thought, because I don't want to fucking. But I want to say something about AI. Go on.
Oh yeah, no, and so you know that
I like that name though. It's dope.
Yeah,
it's
bro.
Cool,
yeah.
flipping it in a good way. Algorithm.
Algorithm, bro. You know, the brother Carlos was just a happy soul, bro. Happy person. Big on justicia, man. He was always at the protests and marches. He went to I believe UCLA. And still was out there in the community, bro, doing hard work, and I had to represent for him, bro. And you know, I talked to his family. I just cut him a little bit of the percentage of what I made from it, and it's all love, bro. That's the least I could do, you know, for before he passed away. And he's half Salvi, like my folks, so we had a strong bond. You know, I only met him once at a party in East Los in July, and he was like, yeah, man, you know, I'm I did music, but I took a break, but I'm still kind of like into it, you know. And I was like, listen to my stuff, listen to this record. He listened to it and he liked it, and he's like, when you guys practice? I'm like, man, we got practice in like 3 weeks. Passed away, unfortunately. I mean, Google, you could Google that. That's a long story, bro. But unfortunately, him and his pops passed away. And so again, that was trauma, bro. I had to get it out, and I put it on that rola. Algorithm, and it's just healing, bro. Music has always been healing for me, and I just been blessed that people accept this message and relate to it. And so far, you know, I'm here, man. I'm not going anywhere. You know what I mean?
Cool. Wow. Yeah. It was cool to feature you. I mean, the record sounds dope. The song is dope.
Gracias,
man. I mean,
gracias.
And you're clever, man. You're clever about it. So it's gonna be continuous and endless as long as you do it. Art. I mean, even myself, you know, a lot of people always tell me, like, you know, your platform isn't as big as it is, but my platform's a little different. Like, everybody that's on my platform, like, really responds to whatever I decide to do musically or workshop and all that stuff. But it just takes a continuous, endless investment. And I'm glad that you're still doing it, because, I mean, man, 2004 was a while ago.
05.
Yeah, 05
exactly.
is a while ago, and
you
still
guys definitely have history.
You're still grinding it, and you're still putting out quality products, and that
drive, that initiative to reach out to us and say, "Yo, dude, is there any way I could get featured?" That's what you need, minimum requirement in this industry, right? Zero,
just have a product
forward, have a
product. If you don't have a product, don't try to push it.
Keep hitting other outlets. You know what I'm saying? I'm just so happy that we caught your attention.
Most definitely, you know, and you know, I'm gonna talk to brother Zero right here afterwards. You know, I want to build more with them. You know, we run in the same circles basically, bro. And I want to support everything you got, this movimiento, bro. You know, getting out to our gente, man, our indigenous folks, man. We need each other right now.
Yeah.
It's not certain people need us or I need, no, we need each other. We need to unite. Right now is the time for all the nations to unite, bro.
Right.
And that's what June 25th is about.
Hey.
Gathering of hearts, you know, it's the gathering of hearts, and we don't want, it's not a violent thing. It's an informational thing. It's the battle for mental bighorn. You know what I mean? Like, your mental health is what we're really shooting our arrows at, and that's through consciousness and through understanding and through making mistakes and to whatever it is that we are bringing to the table. But, you know, there's a lot of, you know, hopefully I want to get into something at the end of this podcast so that, because we haven't really been able to talk about current events and things that are important in the world, you know, that we should shed light on.
Yes.
Right? Like the horrible, horrific, colonial, U.S. military style settler atrocities that are happening in Palestine. Don't belittle that movement. Go and do your research about what's happening there. Don't come back at it with hate, but what creativity. The mastering of creativity is our people's power. We are the most artistic people on this planet. Not to gain ownership, but we found healing in being creative and reaching out. So my love and my heart goes out to people that are suffering in that way, suffering in the way of, you know, violence and unfair treatment, displacement, and that's not fair. And not that life should be fair, but I pray that they organize in a good way, that they use the strategies of the Zapatistas to bring light to the truth, because a beast, a thief, a colonizer, a settler, a capitalist doesn't like to be filmed. He doesn't like to be exposed in that way. So he comes up with clever ideas. He comes up with stupid, exaggerated forms of psychological warfare. And this brother brought, you know, he cleverly flipped AI. But I had just did some research on AI, right? And everybody's all like, "Ooh, AI, and ooh, they're gonna learn us, and look at how smart the computer is. It's gonna learn emotion, and it's gonna learn this." And they've disproven the fact that only thing that AI does is regurgitate what you feed it. So it's not as clever as you think, but they'll bill it like it's fucking the most clever thing. Like, you can't get around it. It's gonna be, ooh, it's AI. It's AI. It's the algorithm. It's this. It's that. It's a fucking lie. I don't know why we believe liars. These people are liars. Any corporate, anything that comes from a colonial perspective, anything that comes from I own you or I own it outright, no one can question me, I can take advantage or poison people because I am the owner, as long as no one knows. That's not power. That's like a fucking train going straight into a wall and knowing the destination is that wall. We have to grow out of this automatic believing of the fucking narrative. We cannot believe the narrative all the time. Here's why we can't do that. We can't believe an imposed narrative because when you're born, everyone gets their own narrative. That's how people who come from very dysfunctional families become successful people. Because they don't look at their dysfunction as a negative thing, but a positive thing. Like, I grew out of that. I took every bit of opportunity and made myself into this great person because she controlled or he controlled their own narrative. But if we look and turn on the TV or look at a documentary or read a book and go, oh shit, that narrative's dope, I'm going to follow that narrative, that leads to problems. Because you only know a little piece of another person's perspective. So create your own perspective. Create your own power. That's where your power lies, in your perspective. That's why on June 25th, we're breaking colonial perspective with every single bit of detail in that event. From the DJs, from what the DJs play, from what's being on the visuals, from who is performing. Every single aspect is to break colonial perspective.
Tickets will be available within the next 24 hours. We're still figuring out the lineup, but it's a fresh lineup.
And it's a small room, so it's going to be every single detail. It's not a coincidence that June 25th was practically given to us.
Yep.
I'll be there.
There's a big spiritual portal that will be opened up that day in a very good way. And whoever gets to experience it, these podcasts aren't going to be forever, man. Eventually we're going to finish these podcasts, I'm not saying it's anytime soon, but, this is our first event. How many events do you think we'll be putting on every year? Even if we do get to put on 20, this is the first one.
Got to make up for this.
This is a strong one.
Great venue.
Man, that's it. Well, Midtown, man.
Yeah.
That's Midtown Down Records is the imprint. Bro, I'm from that neighborhood.
That's right. Catch One. The Catch One
Catch
Club,
One,
yeah.
bro. That's on Pico, man.
Yeah, on Pico.
Man.
Legendary venue, right?
I mean, they used to do disco back then, bro.
Oh, shit.
In the 70s. And
well, before that, in the 60s, it was jazz.
Yeah.
When the jazz greats,
man,
they started making
I'm
smaller
running,
rooms.
bro. Tomorrow, I'm going to be on my phone, buying these tickets.
June 25th, Catch One between 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Zero of El Vuh is headlining the event with Olmeca. We're going to have a great lineup, of artists, DJs, vendors, Manalali Superfood space as well.
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
LA Natives merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, Zero merchandise. His whole catalog is going to be available that day.
Yeah.
And guys, it's only $5, right? Consider it a donation. Consider it a humble contribution to the overall cause, right, Zero?
Well, we're trying to recreate a community that is socially conscious, but socially responsible for their own self. That's it.
Right.
Not as a group, not as a community, not as a scene, but for their own self, for their own health.
Right. And for all you
wisdom.
diehards, when we do release the event link, we are going to have 25 RSVP free tickets. So best believe you guys need to jump on that, because after the 25 is up, they're all going to be $5, but that's nothing, right, Zero?
No, it's not. And then we're also going to offer the 20 VIP workshop, and we'll find a place where it's going to be either backstage or somewhere in the venue. And I'm going to do a really hardcore talk. I'm not going to, it's like the Patreon, but in live version,
Right. We're going to see how big this green room is.
Yeah. Whatever. Hey, we could go outside in the parking lot. Doesn't care. I don't care. It says, I think the biggest skill that I got, or the biggest opportunity that I have, is that I get to explain my music with this podcast. I get to give you a little glimpse of what I'm thinking, and then you get to hear my lyrics after that, and then you go, oh shit, it fits. And that's what I want. I want to create a connection with the audience that is personal, that has very deep, intimate meditations that I go through. I only share a fraction of that on this podcast. A fraction of my thought process is on this podcast.
Right.
And to do it live in front of people at a show, I get pumped up. I get, it's a different vibe for me.
And guys, the Zero's biggest strength, in my opinion, is the stage.
Yeah. I love that. The stage is dope. Yeah, I let it go, man. I don't I don't care what the venue is. And thank you very much for providing this one, because the Catch One is a premier venue.
Yes.
It's not a dive bar. It's not a hole in the wall. But even though if it was a dive bar, wherever it was, a street, I always give my performances like if I'm playing the last performance. So anybody who shows up or who wants to be involved in the VIP part of it, or who even donates $5 to our movement, know that the vision is very clear. The clear vision is to create a social community that takes responsibility for one's own self and in their implementation of whatever they've learned from whatever source they've learned it from. Hashtag Global Indigenous. The LA Natives banner is that all people who respect Mother Earth are natives. All people who were lied to and told that they were just something that can consume until it's done, that's the wrong perspective. We're not capitalists. And if you have that capitalist attitude, then be prepared to be challenged. Enough with the stupidity. Our people come from 26,000 years of chronological documentation of time. We are brilliant. We are all geniuses when we cultivate that genius. The movement starts on June 25th at the Catch One.
25 RSVP free, 5 advance, 10 at the door. Make sure you guys come out, support. We have a vicious lineup, great sound. Zero's headlining. You guys cannot miss it.
Olmeca, co-headlining.
Yep.
Olmeca's co-headlining.
Jaguar. Azomali. Artson. Wow, Artson's gonna come by.
Yeah.
I gotta see Ozo, man.
Sub one.
Yeah. Richie of Indigenous 1492 is gonna be in the building. I'm gonna try to convince him to host tonight.
We'll see. That's dope. I mean, look, this is Richie. Shout out to Richie. Shout out to Sub. We need to have a general meeting. We need to strategize and put people in place to put this.
Yes, we're strategizing to take this on the road and to scale this out and start bringing out some big names. And then, like you said, Zero, prioritize going to these reservations, going back to these environments and giving them your superfoods.
Yeah.
I'm super down for that.
That'd be my dream come true.
Donate a concert to them, you know?
That to me is the ultimate dream for me, is to be able to bring back foods that will make a difference in their life. I could care less about throwing the government over, whatever the fuck they call it, you know, or bringing down a house. Fuck them. There's solutions that go back thousands of years. And when you can say confidently that your ancestors documented 26,000 years of time, what happened, what developed, what engineering happened, what type of societies did they build? It can't be summarized in one chapter of a history book. Man, 26,000 years? Are you kidding me? That's probably will fill up a whole floor in the Vatican. Hint, hint. What, you think they burned all our books? Remember, this is the biggest liar on the planet. You think they burned all our Mayan books, all of our Aztec books? You think that shit is burnt? You think there's only 4 left in the entire globe? This is the most profound society that the Americas have ever seen. And I'm not even talking about the Inca. You come from a lineage that mastered time. So let's connect to it. Let's be at one with it. Let's be together on June 25th. We'll see you, LA natives. Thank you for coming, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Viaje. Thank you.
I appreciate you too, Armando. Appreciate the LA natives. Stay strong. Stay wise. Be firm. But most of all, trust yourself. Your heartbeat is unique. Your heartbeat is tied with a tiny golden string that goes directly to our great father Tonatu. He, that great light in the sky, gives all information and creates all moods. We'll see you. Sunday.
Sunday.
Laso Kamatli, Omete, Tonansi.